right, hello everyone, and welcome to the pilot episode of the Podtastic 4 podcast. It's a talk show by the fans for the fans. It's a nerd culture podcast where we talk about everything Marvel, DC, Star Wars, movies, video games, The Boys, TV shows, anything and more. My name is Matt Wahoo, aka the Great Blacksby, and on behalf of everyone here, we'd like to thank you guys for tuning into our first episode. We've got so much to discuss for this first episode, so many updates, so many news about upcoming projects, theories, character lore, and of course, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, big blockbuster movie that came out last week, Wakanda Forever. But before we get into that, I want to take a moment to just introduce you guys to the team, let you guys get to know us a little bit. So we'll go around in circle and answer a couple questions that we've written down. Let's start with Luis. So Luis, tell everybody your name and the city you're from.
As Matthew has graciously shared, my name is Luis, Luis Aleman, and I am from the great city of Houston, Texas.
Sick.
All right, Graham.
My name is Graham Weatherford, and I am from a little old town called Paris, Texas, and there ain't a damn thing special about this place.
Also, I'd like to apologize on Graham's behalf. His camera is not working, but we will get that
Yes,
fixed
that
as
will
soon
be
as
fixed in
possible.
the next one. Yes.
We're working on it. We're building up. All right, Araya.
My name is Araya Esperanza. I am also from the greatest city on earth, Houston, Texas, aka home of the Houston Astros, the world champions, nothing crazy.
All right, and I am Matt Wahoo. As I said before, my name is Matt Wahoo, aka the Great Blacksby, aka the Black Panther, aka Black in America, aka Blue Marvel, aka I have 15,000 different names. I am also from the greatest city in the greatest state on earth. Okay, the greatest city on earth. I don't know about the greatest state on
There
earth.
you go.
I don't know about
We're working
Texas,
that.
boy.
We're working on that. We're trying to fix
One of
that.
these days.
One day, maybe. I don't know if I'll be here for it, but we'll see. But I'm from the greatest city in the world, Houston, Texas, H-Town, hold it down, Beyonce land, you know what I'm saying? World champions, Texans football, we're not there yet, we're getting there. Rockets basketball, we used to win, but now we suck, but we're getting better. So anyways, next question. Luis, what's your favorite Marvel and DC hero?
Oh, my favorite DC hero. I have a couple, but I guess I'll just list them off really quickly. I'm very biased, so I really like Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle, probably due to the fact that, he's Mexican American, I'm Mexican American. It just, it makes sense. I really like Blue Beetle. I love all of the Green Lantern Corps, or just any of the lanterns. Red Lanterns are cool. The Yellow Lanterns are cool. Kyle Rayner, when he's the White Lantern, he's really cool. So, and my favorite Marvel superheroes, I really like, the basics. Spider-Man, he's the greatest, most popular superhero in the world for a reason, but I'm also a big fan of Daredevil. A lot of that has to do with the fact that my dad collected Daredevil comics when he was younger. He loves Daredevil. I'm very fond of the Daredevil Ben Affleck movie, even though I know it's garbage, but
Yeah.
I love it. And of course, so yeah, but yeah, I would say Daredevil, Spider-Man, and then Blue Beetle and all the lanterns on DC.
All right. Solid. I see you is valid points. Graham, favorite Marvel and DC character.
I have to agree with Luis on the Marvel. Spider-Man and Daredevil. Spider-Man's without a doubt number one, and Daredevil is a close second. He's easily top three. But Doctor Doom takes over all of them. He ain't a hero, but Doom is the number one Marvel guy for me. DC, the Lanterns are sick, and the Lanterns are sick, and Barry Allen, the Flash, is also probably tied with the Lanterns.
What about my man's Wally West, bro? What about
Wally?
What about
like
Jay
Wally.
Garrick?
I do like. Okay, yeah. But Barry is the main, I guess. So
The real question is Grant Gustin or Ezra Miller.
We're gonna get to
that's
that.
not a
No,
question.
that's
And we're
not.
gonna get to that in the
Let's
future.
not
We're
discuss
gonna
that.
get to that in the future.
Anyways,
yeah.
But
Moving
Graham,
on.
that's solid. I agree. I do like the Flash too. That's pretty cool. Araya, favorite Marvel and DC hero.
So my favorite Marvel hero, well, growing up, it was always Storm. Also biased, she black, I'm black. I thought that was cool. I love Halle Berry, so growing up, I would watch the X-Men movies. So I love Storm, but I also really love Loki. I feel like I'm here with him. I get it. I get like the outcast in your family thing, and I get the vengeance thing. Like we here, I feel it. And then for DC, I really love Harley Quinn. I don't know. I just like how she kind of started off being like a side character, and now she's like super iconic. I think that's iconic of her. I think it's great. I love that she's multifaceted, and yeah, like literally, she was just meant to be in like a couple episodes of the Batman the animated series. R.I.P. Kevin Conroy.
Yes,
Yes, RIP to him. But she literally was so popular, like they kept her around, and she's still around today. Like I think that's great. So yeah.
I would just like to say that I am not black, but I also love Halle Berry. So
I am black.
I agree.
Just putting that out
100%.
there.
I am
She's
black.
universal.
And I love
She's
Halle
universal.
Yeah.
She's for the people, bro. She's for
Yeah.
everyone. Yes, those are great answers too. I mean, I agree with you. Harley Quinn started off as like kind of like a sidekick, but look at her now. Anybody can make it. Anybody
Her own show is
you can do
amazing right now too.
Facts. Let's see, man. If you don't already know by now who my favorite heroes are, it's pretty stinking obvious. Like, hello, where is it? Hello. Like, my favorite heroes are Black Panther, in no particular order too, by the way. Black Panther, Blue Marvel, and Captain America. But we're talking about Sam Wilson. Steve Rogers is cool and everything, but Sam Wilson, bro, his storyline, that's solid. Black man being a superhero, you love to see it. And then for DC, man, this goes back and forth every day. Like I keep reading more comics. I'm like, God dang, I love so much. DC has such a good plethora of heroes. I love the Lantern so much. John Stewart's that's my guy. He's a GOAT. He's a GOAT. I love it. And then probably Dr. Fate too. The more I keep thinking about it. And like I'm glad we saw him in Black Adam.
Especially
I wish he didn't. Yeah, I wish he didn't die. Bro.
Oh, Matt.
It's been like a month.
Spoilers, man.
You had time.
Yeah, they had time.
This movie, this episode is not about Black Adam. This episode is about Black Panther.
Nobody watched it, so you can't assume that they've seen it after a month. No one saw it.
I mean, hell, The Rock spoiled like the biggest scene in the whole movie.
I mean, you snooze, you lose. Wikipedia
Spoiler
is
alert,
free.
guys.
Google is free.
The Rock is Black Adam.
Are you serious?
What?
No way. The Rock
Does he have hair?
Bro.
Dwayne Johnson.
Let's go.
Let's
go.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me they're the same person?
Yeah.
What?
Crazy.
I mean, have you ever seen The Rock and Black Adam in the room at the same time? No. There it is.
You might be on to something, Matt. I also want to mention that post Wakanda Forever, because I'm also biased, Namor is not one of my favorite Marvel characters.
If we're talking if we're talking comics, Namor,
no,
I mean,
don't like.
Cool.
Yeah,
He's
all right. No.
Movie.
Sorry,
Namor
is one of my favorites. Namor is one of my favorites.
You said it wrong.
Namor.
You said it wrong.
Sorry, Namor.
They don't call him King or General. They call him Kukulkan.
The king of Talokan.
I've heard that so many times on TikTok. It's insane.
I had to do it. Winston Duke, if you're watching this, you heard that impression. You know what you got to see me, bro.
A lot of people were talking about him. He carried the scenes that he was.
He really did.
He didn't do much, but let's save that for later. Later.
We got the
next question,
section
Matt.
for Black Panther coming up. The next question is a Star Wars related question. What is y'all's favorite lightsaber color? Luis, go ahead and start it off.
Again, because I'm incredibly basic and I don't like thinking for myself, I really like a red lightsaber. Red is one of my favorite. Red is one of my favorite colors, and it looks cool, dude. Like I don't know. I know it's for Sith. I think Siths are badass, and a red lightsaber is dope. Ahsoka's white lightsabers are a close second, but I really like a red lightsaber.
Ooh.
I respect that. I see it. Graham?
Ooh. Green for sure.
Boo.
Qui-Gon and Luke, yeah, green. But hey, if
Word to
like,
Yoda.
obscure ones, the dark saber. How can you not
Ooh.
like that dark saber? Yeah, I stole
Okay.
it. I'm gonna take that one off the draft order.
Valid. Valid. Araya, what's your favorite lightsaber color?
So me, Ahsoka, resident Ahsoka stan. I'm going with her white lightsabers. That changed my life when I saw Rebels, and
When she did the
my life was forever changed. I was like, I didn't know this was possible, but I refused to acknowledge anything else. I used to say purple because purple's my favorite color, but I literally like threw that out the window. I was like, no, white lightsabers. I also was gonna say the dark saber as well, and also yellow lightsabers. I think are pretty cool, like Rey's and the Jedi Temple Guards. I think that's an interesting color as well.
Who was that first person you mentioned?
Rey Skywalker.
Palpatine.
Never heard of him.
Skywalker.
Don't know who that is.
Hey,
Don't know who that is.
Another point on the white lightsabers. They looked unreal in that
Mandalorian
episode.
Oh my
dude, when
God.
she came out of the that was a little crazy. I did
cried.
too.
It was 3 a.m. I woke up because I was like, if I see a spoiler, I'm gonna kill myself. And I woke up at 3 a.m. to watch it. And when she did that, I had to pause it and like cry. I was like, oh my God.
I say that too, minus the spoilers. I
was gonna say, and the name drop at the very end, but I guess spoiler alert.
Yes, those are all great. We got an assortment of colors here. My favorite one is purple because purple is also my favorite color. If you can't tell, you probably can't, but like the lights in my rooms here are all purple. It's a purple Black Panther logo on my hoodie. I got purple African attire. Like this, it is what it is. I love the color purple. It's just a regal color. It's a color of royalty. I'm royalty.
And Saints Row.
And I mean, Mace Windu was just walking around. He's the only one with a purple lightsaber. Who else got a purple lightsaber? Nobody. Everybody getting that basic blue or green. Or if you're evil, you got a red one. Like, ooh, oh my God.
And somebody walking with a purple motherfucker on it. Just
exactly. If you walk up and you see somebody with a purple lightsaber, you know they mean business. And I mean business, bro. Let's talk about why we love pop culture and what it means to us. Luis, go ahead and start it off.
I like pop culture just because it's a way it's provided me like a community of like-minded people and individuals, and like growing up, it's like, like, not to get like incredibly personal here, but like growing up, like if you didn't have like a lot of friends or a lot of people to like talk to or anything like that, like you really can lose yourself in these stories and in movies and in books and comic books and video games and all these kinds of things, right? And so finally being able to grow up and find a community of like-minded individuals and like-minded people to talk about things, I think that's incredibly beautiful, and just a kind of a sense of found family is very again, not to repeat myself, but beautiful. And what does it mean to me? Nothing. Just it provides a home, home away from home, right? Like no matter where you are, you can always come together and talk about these things with people, whether it be positive or negative conversations. Remains to be seen, but it's always a conversation starter, and for the most part, it is fun and joyous, and like I said, it just provides a community, and that's what it means to me. And I think that's wonderful.
Nice. Okay. I see you. Graham, what does pop culture mean to you?
I don't know if I could say it any better than him. That was that was pretty on point. I agree with everything he said. I like the conversation though the most. I love talking theories and just stuff that could happen. If it doesn't happen, why it didn't, whatnot. And I'm talking like an anime, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, all that stuff. Like it's so broad, pop culture. Like it's kind of every music, everything. And I tend to lose myself in the stories and music too. So it's comforting. It's a comforting place to be.
There you go. I like that you said it's broad too. That's not just one specific thing. Like we have so many different, like pop culture is like an umbrella term, and we can just do so much with it and see so much with it. That's great. Araya, why do you love pop culture and what does it mean to you?
You know what, like when you're in school and like you raise your hand and answer a question, but someone else answers before you, and you're like, man, they took my answer. Like both of y'all, that's how I feel right now. Literally, I was gonna say the same thing. Like growing up, well, I guess what it means for me, that side of the question, it was kind of a form of like escapism. Like I didn't really have like a rough childhood, but I just really liked to kind of like lose myself in that world. I loved to read and I loved to like watch these movies. Like, we grew up when like the OG X-Men and Spider-Man movies were coming out. And so it was just kind of fun to like watch those movies and immerse myself in that world and want to be there. So it was like, kind of fun to use that as like a way to like, I don't know, use my imagination. But what I love about pop culture, kind of like touching on what Graham said, is that it's so broad. Like there's something for everybody. Like, some people like Star Wars more, some people like Marvel, some people like DC for whatever reason. No, I'm just kidding. For legal purposes, I'm kidding. And, yeah, so
Whoa.
well, they're movies. I mean, they're movies. Everything else besides the movies is great. But, anyways, that's a whole
The
nother.
Batman, though.
Yeah, the one singular Batman. But anyways.
Black Adam.
Boo.
That's
Anyways,
a little bit of a stretch.
But yeah, I don't know. I just like that it's really broad and like there's something for everybody, and kind of like the community of it. Like you can talk with people about different things, and like everyone has different interests. And even if you all like the same thing, like, you can have 20 people that like Star Wars and they all like something different about it. So like I think it's just fun to like have your own little like personal preferences and see like what other people like, and they kind of, you can kind of bounce knowledge off of each other. I think that's fun.
Yeah, it's a very good explanation. A very good in-depth look at, the different aspects of pop culture, different areas people can find themselves in, so to speak, if that makes sense. As for me, like y'all all said, like everyone said, I'm gonna be, singing, preaching to the choir right now. I love pop culture because, we really built a sense of community. Growing up in middle school in Houston, Texas, Pearland, Texas, going to I forgot what middle school I went to. I'm not going to bother with telling you on that. I used to spend my days reading comics, and like Araya said, we grew up with the OG X-Men, the Fox X-Men, and the old the Raimi Spider-Man movies. Like we've seen the MCU before it was the MCU. And reading the comics and knowing the backstories, like knowing the lore, that's such an interesting world for me. Like I like to see, my favorite characters do some insane things that could never happen. I could never fathom somebody climbing walls or swinging on webs or, picking up a planet or whatever. I don't know. There's infinite amount of things that can happen in comics. It's a good place for your mind to just run free. And I like that because, it kind of gives you a sense of escape from the problems of the real world. And I think even as an adult, you kind of, everyone needs that place to just be free, be themselves. You come from work, you got drama at work, you got stress driving to and from work, whatever other problems happen to the day, bills, adulthood in general. You need something to really like decompress, be free, be you. And pop culture, everything in pop culture has that: music, comics, games, TV, movies. I could go on and on. Like this is something for everyone. It's not just one group that has one thing. It's for everybody. And that's kind of the purpose of this podcast too. That's why we didn't specify that we're, a Marvel podcast or a DC podcast or a Image Comics podcast. We are a pop culture podcast because we love everything pop culture. We talk everything pop culture. And yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
And I think our answers were kind of, broad and long-winded, but that I think it encapsulates the next question very well. And not to step on your toes, Matt, but just so you guys know, the next question we had in our outline was, what do you hope to accomplish with this podcast? And I think, we pretty much all answered it, directly or indirectly, right? And that's just kind of like, to form a community and a place where people can talk about things, and a place where we can talk about things that we like, and get our stupid takes off, and and just come together and talk about the things that we love in a fun and hopefully problematic free situation, but yeah, so that's my answer. And I don't know, I'm not speaking for everybody, but I like to feel like we're all basically on the same page in regards to that.
Absolutely. Community. Community is the big thing.
Yeah, especially for people that look like us, you know. I think
Yeah.
it's like good to see people who like look like us, you know, kind of talking about stuff like this, because I feel like, you know, for a long time, like being into like comics or like nerdy stuff was like white people stuff. Like I'm sure y'all have heard that
Sorry,
before.
Graham.
At least
Hey,
once something
yeah.
around you.
For the people that can't see me, I'm white.
Go get some chips and come back.
Because you couldn't tell from hearing him talk and the fact that he's
Whatever.
from Paris, Texas.
Whatever you guys are watching this on or listening to this on, yeah. So everyone everyone explain your ethnic background.
So
It's just three. It's like that TikTok sound, you know. We rocking with Mark.
We rocking with Mark because
Rock's
is
rocking with us. Yeah.
We rocking with Graham because Graham is rocking with us. We're gonna get
Yeah.
T-shirts eventually. That's gonna
No,
say
but I
that.
think that's a very good point that Araya made about, you know, just, you know, providing a space, because yeah, a lot of times, you know, it is important to have people of color and Mark, you know, talking about these things. It's good to have a platform for that.
Absolutely.
And women also.
And women,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes,
And-
yes.
Or, you know, female identifying people. Yeah.
There you
So
go.
I
Yeah,
definitely,
exactly.
you know.
And to expand on all of that, like that's the point of this podcast. You know, it's different people, different representations coming together to talk about something that we all love, that also represents us in different ways that, you know what I mean? Like you can find yourself in any character. So this podcast is going to be a pretty inclusive place. It's not going to be one demographic we're looking
Not a
for.
monolith.
We are very diverse in everything. So with that being said, that is the team. Thank you guys so much for introducing yourselves. We have a really awesome group here. If you can't tell, I hope y'all are excited to hear all our points about everything. Like I said, we're not just talking about one brand. We're talking about every single
Or
thing.
not. You don't even have to
Terrifying.
listen to our stuff. Like you can just hang out. Like,
But you can't. Yeah, exactly. You just chill with us. It's a fun time.
Let's argue.
no,
No,
let's
I'm kidding.
not.
I'm kidding.
do it.
I'm kidding.
Let's not.
No,
do it.
some of us take things too seriously. And by
yeah.
some, I mean
Dial
me.
it back.
That's
Dial it
an
back.
episode for another day. That's an episode for another day.
Graham wants to argue.
We'll have a
He said
debate
he wants
episode.
beef.
We'll have
He
a debate
wants
episode.
beef.
Graham wants problems. Typical white person.
He
Yeah.
wants to start drama.
He wants, look. He wants to
Colonizer
start drama with the
mentality.
communities of colors. You see that?
Oh, you see how he
Oh my God.
infiltrates and then breaks us up from the
And
inside?
divides.
Oh my
Okay,
Wow,
Double
Here for it.
agent.
Okay.
Just call me Everett Ross.
bruh. But before we get started on Wakanda Forever, I know that's what we are dying to jump into. We have so much to talk about. But before we do that, we're going to start with a section that we're going to use to highlight moments in pop culture history that occurred on this date. So today, the day that you are watching or listening to this podcast is going to be November 18th, 2022. And on this day in pop culture, Nintendo released the GameCube gaming console in North America in 2001.
The GOAT console.
I'm old, you know what I'm saying? Like we've all played video games at some point. The GameCube is iconic, like bro,
iconic,
legendary
to
console
say the
right
least.
there. Nintendo
are they still making it?
I don't think
That's
they're
a
like
good
it's not
No,
production
exactly.
anymore.
So next,
No,
done. All right,
no.
next. It came and went. Next,
Anyways,
it's done. It's done.
Speaking
How
of
iconic can you be if they don't keep making them anymore?
I mean, technology advanced.
and it's time.
Technology had to advance, and you know, once technology did advance, we came to different things like, you know, the
Switch.
Wii, the Switch. And speaking of Nintendo and the Wii, in 2013, on this date, in the November 18th, 2013, Nintendo released the Wii U in North America. I don't know anything about that because I didn't play the Wii U. I literally went from the Wii to an Xbox, and like I never looked back. No offense, Nintendo.
What's the difference to the Wii U? I've never.
It has the handheld component.
That it was like a pre-switch.
Yeah, it had a handheld component to it.
It's the Mark I of the Switch, like
essentially. Yeah.
Actually, no, the DS would be like the.
I was about to say,
the
the DS, or really the Game Boy, right?
Oh,
bro, Graham right there with the
third
facts.
eye.
Damn.
Graham right there with the facts. The
Damn.
Game Boy is actually the Mark I Iron Man suit of the
See,
Switch.
that's the kind of analysis to expect from this podcast, guys.
Yeah.
we don't
Just-
just look at things regularly. Like,
Yeah.
That
yeah,
third
no
eye
way.
has to stay
Yeah.
open.
there's no way.
yeah. Where else
Um,
will you make the Nintendo Switch GameCube connection? I mean,
Yeah.
Game Boy connection, if not on this podcast. You know.
Exactly. Also on this date, two pretty famous people were born. Two pretty famous and funny people. Actor and comedian Owen Wilson was born in 1968 on November 18th.
Damn.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
And also, actor and comedian Mike Epps was born in 1970 on this date. Man, look, see,
I
Mike Epps-
met Mike Epps.
You met Mike Epps, bro.
Yeah.
When and where?
I used
What was
to work
going
at
on?
I used to work. Sorry, I know this is a tangent. Quick it'll be
No,
super
that's
quick.
fine. Go
I
ahead.
used to meet. I used to work at the airport in the international portion of the airport at a restaurant there, and Mike Epps came by to eat one time at the restaurant that I was working at, and
Did
I
you
asked
get
him for
him-
a picture.
Did you get him to be like, "Daddy, look at me"?
No, I did. I just asked for a picture, and I waited
Oh
until he
my
was done eating. And some people didn't recognize him, but I was like, "That's Mike Epps, bro." And I got a picture with him, and it was cool, and he was super nice. But yeah, I saw that in the outline, and I was like, "Hey, that was my bestie."
It's the
It's
bestie.
it's Mike. It's
Mike
Mike.
Epps.
Telling
It's
Oscar
Mike.
I'm about
I-
Mike Epps.
Don't tell Oscar.
Mike Epps, if you're watching and listening to this, bro, come on, drop
Oh
by the
yeah,
pod.
yeah. Number
Say what's
one.
up.
Yeah, our number one fan. Our number one fan, Mike Epps.
We tweeting this out. If you're listening to this right now and you have a social media, tweet Mike Epps
at Mike Epps
to hit us
this,
up.
Yeah, for this 1 minute tangent that I went on this podcast that he would otherwise not be interested in. But
You never know. And then lastly, today is Mickey Mouse Day. It's Mickey Mouse's birthday.
boo!
Give it up.
Happy birthday.
Boo!
Happy birthday to everyone's favorite rodent, to the
Monopoly starter himself.
The head
There you
cheese.
go.
That's our favorite mouse. I mean,
My
I
future
like Jerry
boss.
too. That's our future boss. Yeah.
Our future boss. Yeah, when we start
He's
working
gonna be
for
riding our
Disney
shield
and
chair.
Marvel.
I have my resume ready, Mickey.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, before we get started with our topic discussion of Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, we're going to take a short break, let you guys get ready. This is the point in the podcast where you pause whatever you're listening or watching this on. And if you haven't seen Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, stop what you're doing, go to your nearest theater, watch it, analyze it, let it percolate and marinate in your brain, come back and hit play.
Yeah.
You understand? Because if you watch past this and you haven't seen that movie yet, you're going to hate us for the rest of your life.
Y'all hear that, guys?
This.
That's a
It's a
college-educated man.
I use very
Percolate
big
and marinate.
and let it
Write those down. Write those
assimilate.
down.
Let it
Assimilate.
assimilate in your mind, bro.
Write those
Like,
down, kids.
You have to understand what we're about to get into is one of the most in-depth, deepest conversations that we'll ever talk about Black Panther. And like,
Cut
if I'm
to
being
us just
honest
being
with
like, it's
you,
awesome, that was awesome, that was great. Whatever.
honestly,
Yeah.
if I'm being
I have no complaints. I have nothing to
Yeah.
say. It was
if
amazing.
I'm being real with y'all, man, like we went and we broke ourselves in half trying to see this movie on opening weekend. Everybody went and bought tickets
Facts.
over the course of Thursday through Sunday just to see this movie. Some of us have even seen it twice. Like, that's how good it is. So, or 3 times, you'll be an overachiever. See it 3 times. Heck, I'm gonna see it 18 times if I have to. I will. That's how good it is. But if you haven't seen it yet, go ahead and take the time to pause this video, pause this Spotify, Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, Amazon, Bluetooth, iPod
Google Play
Nano,
Music.
Google Play,
Amazon.
whatever you got on.
Ready to talk, y'all. Get out of here.
Whatever you have on, you pause it real quick.
Skedaddle.
Pause it, go watch the movie, come back, hit play. All right, so let's take our break real quick. We're gonna go ahead and take a second to break off, and then y'all come on back. All right. We are back. I'm gonna assume that everyone we told to go leave and watch Black Panther in part 1 actually followed instructions and left and came back. So if you haven't seen it yet and you're still watching and listening to this podcast, you are watching at your own risk. You are watching at your own risk, my friend. You better understand. It's about to
on
get
you.
deep. It's about to get Talokan deep right now. Okay, we're about to get in.
This boy said Talokan.
Wow.
Yeah. How'd you say Namor?
Talokan. I mean, we're about to
There you
get
go.
deep. Talokan deep.
Talokan.
So if you like I said, if you haven't seen Black Panther yet, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, that is, I should have said this earlier. Go see the first Black Panther so you can understand, kind of see the characters that you're going to see in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and then just get a chance to watch Chadwick in one of his best performances. It's my personal favorite because of reasons, because I mean I love Chadwick Boseman, I love Black Panther, but watch that movie, get your chance to see Chadwick again, then come watch Black Panther Wakanda Forever and understand that this movie was not meant to be your typical Marvel movie. Not supposed to be, it wasn't meant to be action packed and building something crazy or whatever. It was more so I want to say it's more so like a perfect send off to a friend, to a friend that we lost. Everyone deals with loss in life, and Chadwick Boseman, the impact he had on not just the Hollywood and the acting community and movies and the MCU and everything, the impact that he had on the world around him, even with people that have never met him. I never met Chadwick, but he had a huge impact on me in my life. And when he passed away in 2020, you can see how that shook, the world. So whenever they decided to go forth with Black Panther 2, and they titled it Wakanda Forever, and it became not just a story about the Black Panther, but an honoring of a friend, a memorial. I want to say this really did encapsulate what everyone was feeling, what everyone was trying to process. So like I said, if you haven't seen Black Panther Wakanda Forever, this is your absolute last warning.
Yeah, I was gonna say all that to say, go watch.
Get out.
Go watch Wakanda Forever.
This is your absolute last warning. I am not gonna. I am after this. After I finish this sentence, and the imaginary period is done in that sentence, it's just spoiler city. I don't care. You're gonna be mad watching the rest of this if you haven't seen Black Panther. But if you have seen it, good on you. Thank you for following instructions. You can read or listen or whatever you doing to watch this podcast. So let's get into it.
So T'Challa's son. No.
Yeah.
Wow. Right off the bat.
She already started with the spoilers, bro. It's crazy. Ramonda died, bro. The queen died.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say, well, R.I.P. the queen.
Bro, she died. Queen Mother died. Anyways, before we get into the whole everything that happened, let's just talk about everything that happened. Let's talk about our thoughts on the movie.
Okay, great.
Let's talk about our thoughts on the movie. Kind of just walk through what it made you feel, what you took from it, what you were thinking going into the movie. Because I was thinking one thing.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, I think we should start by saying whether we liked it or not, because I know that.
Oh well, then yeah,
we don't.
easy.
It's not a general consensus though, which is important to state and to know. Which
Let's
I think
give it
good.
a number.
It's a diverse. It's a what's it called? A diverse.
I know
we all have different feelings on the film.
I know we said at the
Yeah.
beginning about this being a diverse group environment.
The thoughts will be diverse as well.
But I don't know if it's just because I'm biased about Black Panther. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started.
You like? I liked it. I would loved it. I mean, I would. That's all I'll say for now. I loved it. I thought it was great.
All right.
I agree. I loved it, and I think it's so much better to me than the first movie. It's tough. It's a tough watch. Like, it's not one of those I'm just gonna watch all the time, but it is an epic. I really do think so.
Yeah.
Araya.
Here I go. Okay, actually, I changed my stance since I first saw it. So a lot of times I like everybody chill, everybody relax.
Whoa, everyone chill the F out.
Sometimes I go watch movies and I watch them and I'm like, that was amazing. I love that movie. And then like a week later, I'm like, bro, that movie was not that good. Like,
yeah.
Skywalker.
Recency bias is a thing.
Excuse me, y'all. I have a cough. And yeah, sometimes, my judgment is not the best, but with Black Panther, I will admit, y'all, when I first saw it, I was really not into it. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I have my reasons, and we'll talk about that stuff later. I have like some critiques that I had about the movie. So I did and openly say I actually liked the first one better, but after I had some time to kind of reflect on it and like, watch more videos and kind of like think about what I saw, I think I like it more than the first one. I think maybe for me, I kind of have like a problem with change. So I was like having a hard time. Like I was on my Shuri type beat. Like I was having a hard time letting Chadwick go. And I was like, it's just not fun. Like I'm not feeling it. And yeah, so I had a hard time at first. Like I didn't really care for it, but I've come around now. I've seen the light. So yeah, I like them. I guess I like it a little better than the first one now, but sometimes I have to think about it. Like if I just give my opinion straight away, it's always trash. I'm sorry. I know myself.
Fair. It's not trash. That's fair. That's it's valid. No one's gonna judge you. Maybe. I'm kidding. That's a very valid point. Sometimes it takes you a couple of times to watch something or take some time to think about something because like I don't know. If you just go into something and automatically like, I like it, and you don't have any real critiques of it, did you really watch the product? Did you really, understand?
But that's not to say you can't like stuff just
you can't
to like it. You don't have to go into
you
every
can like
movie and write
what's it called? It's a not double-sided coin.
Double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword. Thank you. A double-edged sword. Because like look at movies like Black Adam. You can't go into Black Adam and be like, it has to be like Titanic. It has to be like freaking a Steven Spielberg film. It has to be like something so deep. It has to be like a James Cameron film. No, that's a movie that you just watch and have fun.
Right. Well, I just think that's an important distinction that oftentimes people tend not to make. Right, is when watching, for example, superhero movies, right, or action movies, right. It's that I think you can't judge them in like with the same barometer that you judge a Paul Thomas Anderson movie or a Yorgos Lanthimos movie. It's like what you're expecting when you're gonna go watch Banshees of Inisherin.
Exactly.
But you know what you expect when you're gonna go watch Banshees of Inisherin, right? And you know what to expect when you're gonna go watch Thor: Love and Thunder. Like it's two totally different experiences.
That's the point I was about to make.
And they shouldn't. And one is not better than the other. One's not worse than the other, right?
That's the other thing I was gonna say. Yeah,
I think it's objective, yeah, and I think it's fair to like things that are objectively bad.
And it's okay to like things and dislike things. Like no one's gonna jump you for it. That's the problem with I think the way the pop culture online, at least on social media, I've seen has evolved into this thing where if you like something and you don't like this other thing, or like if you don't like this one thing and everyone else likes that one thing, you're suddenly some type of miscreant, you're degenerate, worst type of person in the world. We should step on you and push you off a cliff and burn
that's
your
the
house.
Star Wars community.
Like that's the problem with the communities right now. Yes, Star Wars especially.
It's really bad. But
it's been really bad. So
we're gonna say, Graham.
Go ahead.
I was just saying the Thor: Love and Thunder thing is a very good point that I was going to make because I did not, and it's a fun movie, but I did not really like that because I was going in expecting something different, something more a little serious, and it was the complete opposite of that. And then what Matt said, like about Wakanda Forever, I was kind of thinking it wasn't going to be this deep. I knew it was going to be deep for like the first half, but like I didn't know the whole movie was going to be like that. And I did want some more action-y stuff in there, but after watching it and sit down with it, it's the best way they could have handled this whole movie. And that third act is amazing.
Really good. Yeah.
And
like a lot of my critiques still kind of stand, but as I kind of thought about it, like I said, like the more I thought about it, I was like, these are more like petty grievances, I think. Like they're just like, they're just small little critiques. Like overall, honestly, I don't think I would have changed anything about the movie. I really loved it. I loved everything that the actors brought. I loved everything that they incorporated. I enjoyed it. I was just being harsh because like I said, I was literally like Shuri. Like I was like, where is T'Challa? And then the end of the movie was like, here he is. So anyways.
I agree. I was thinking after he passed away, like it is tragic, but of course my mind goes to like, well, what is gonna happen with T'Challa? And like he's such a big character, especially with Secret Wars coming. Like they're probably going to switch it up a little bit, which obviously the introduction of his son changes the game. But I had this thought going in this movie. I was like, it's not going to be that great because it's going to be 2 hours and 45 minutes with no T'Challa. Like nothing really with him. And it just, I loved it.
Yeah, and I definitely wasn't one of those like recast T'Challa people. Like I was not on that train at all. I was just like skeptical. Like I didn't want them to recast T'Challa because I feel like that's really disrespectful to like Chadwick.
It's too soon.
Like, legacy, yeah, it's too soon.
Way
it's disrespectful to his legacy. But
hot take.
Hold
I don't
on.
think it's disrespectful.
I kind of agree.
I've got a couple of points to make on all that. Y'all just brought like my mind just started cooking. I don't know if you could see the gears turning, but you guys brought up a couple of things. Luis and I had talked about, Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. Just even before the movie came out, we're just discussing what we were hoping to see, what we were expecting. And then after I had watched it, I sent like 10, 15 voice messages to you guys in the group chat, just talking about what I felt. And I had texted Luis on the side because he had sent me something, and I started messaging him and sent him another like 15 voice messages. But we discussed about how, the guys, the whole team on this movie, they had an impossible task moving forward. With the passing of your lead actor. Like people keep saying they can recast William Hurt's General Ross.
He's
but
different.
They can't recast, like it's not the same.
Yeah.
That's not to like slight William Hurt or disrespect him or disrespect the character.
Just to play devil's advocate, why is it not the same?
Hold on, I'm gonna get to that. If you think about it, at this point in the MCU, Ross has kind of been, I don't want to say a sideline character, but kind of like a sideline. Like he'll show up whenever it's like some governmental related thing. Like look at how they're doing Val right now. How she's just showing. I mean, obviously she's gonna play a big role eventually in the next coming, like the Thunderbolts and the eventual Black Panther 3. She's supposed to play a big role, but I just didn't feel attached to Ross like that.
Yeah,
I didn't really care. I mean,
yeah.
I cared because William Hurt he's a great actor. He was a great actor, but like I didn't feel attached to that role. Black Panther, I saw myself in T'Challa. I saw myself in his his demeanor, the way he presented himself, the way he was going through his own personal struggles while taking on the mantle of being king of a very powerful nation. That's
after his father got murdered.
After his father, who was one of the greatest kings in their history too. So like to see some of that power, that magnitude, that stature just go through normal human problems, like wow, I relate to that. I feel I empathize with this man.
But all those feelings that you felt towards Chadwick's T'Challa, do you not think it would have been possible to keep implementing those, like could we not have mourned Chadwick's loss, right? And paid our respects, and he's iconic. He'll be a legend. No one will ever be able to replace him, really, and he'll forever have a place in our hearts, right? But do you not think it could have been just as powerful, right, to recast the role and still have a T'Challa for young Black boys and girls to continue looking up to a character? All those feelings that Chadwick and Black Panther evoked in you, and in many in that first movie, do you not think we could have still continued to have done that if the character was still around and still alive in the universe? I know Araya wants to say something, so
I raised my hand because I did my student teaching today, so I'm like,
no, go for it.
My bad. So I think part of it has to do with also, like, kind of Graham touched on it earlier. He was like, it's too soon. Like, he literally passed away like 2 years ago. Like, we just celebrated the 2nd anniversary of his passing. But also, I feel like if you look at it from the perspective of like people who knew him personally, like Ryan Coogler and Letitia Wright and, all the other cast and crew on Black Panther, like, I feel like that would be kind of like if your mom, well, I don't know what y'all's relationship with your moms are. It
Right,
might be
right,
different, but like
yeah.
if your mom passed away, and then your
Mhm.
dad's like 2 weeks later is like, here's your stepmom, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Like you'd kind of feel a way about it. So I feel like there's that. Like I feel like, I just couldn't imagine the rest of the cast and crew just being like, okay, here's this new guy here,
Yeah.
and even Kevin Feige himself was like, no, we're not doing that. And I think
Yeah.
that was a good way to kind of show respect. Like, I know you said you didn't think it was like disrespectful. Maybe it's not really like disrespectful, but I just feel like, kind of like Matt was saying, like you do kind of form that attachment to the character. And this is like a big name character, this isn't just like,
Oh, it's T'Challa.
some dude.
T'Challa is T'Challa.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Like this is Black Panther. Like this is not just some random dude. This isn't like
silly little
Batroc the
guy.
Leaper or somebody, like they could have
silly
had
little
anybody
guy.
to play Batroc the Leaper and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I'd have been like, cool, like.
But it's GSP, bro. It's GSP.
So going back to that, the best way, like my favorite What If episode was the T'Challa episode. And that came out, I don't even know if it was like a full year after he passed away.
I think it was roughly a year. No,
it was.
No,
it might
it
have
was
been.
like a
let
few
me
months.
look it up.
Yeah, I
That
think
was
it was
his
like kind of
last
like right.
performance.
It was, yeah. And I think, I think it in the story wise for this movie, I'm so glad they didn't recast him and do anything, because I agree with her. It would have thrown the chemistry off with all the actors and stuff. But
And also,
I don't
like-
see why they couldn't like maybe deep fake him a little bit.
Yeah,
or like use his
so-
voice for future
Wait.
animation, but the deep faking, it's not good yet. I would rather him be a
Wait.
multiversal variant a couple years down the line after it's not
Wait.
too soon.
Wait, okay, Graham, I don't know if you were reading my mind, because literally earlier, okay, I didn't want this to happen, but in the scene where Shuri has like her Black Panther vision or whatever, I don't know, whatever you call it, her heart-shaped herb vision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
going to
And they
extra
showed
plane,
the
going to
throne
the
room.
plane.
I was
Mhm.
like,
I thought
I
for a
was like,
second, I thought it was going to be him.
I was like 99.9% it was gonna be like a deep faked Chadwick
Yeah.
Boseman. Like I was like kind of bracing myself, because
Mhm.
you know how the Luke Skywalker thing went over. Like some people loved it, some people hated it, some people, whatever.
It was
So
horrible.
I literally like, my
Garbage.
buttons were clenched. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna do it. And then it was Killmonger, and I was like, oh thank God.
I actually adore that Killmonger scene. One of my favorite
was
scenes
so
in the
good.
whole movie. He
It was
killed
so
it.
good. And yeah, just like I was gonna mention something else, I forgot, but yeah, that deep fake thing kind of like triggered my memory, because I was thinking about
I mean,
that.
just to be clear, I think they handled it the best way possible, and
Oh.
I think they were incredibly respectful to not only Chadwick and his legacy, but obviously the character of T'Challa, and I think it was the best decision to make, and I really enjoy the way they
I still want him
handled the
recast.
situation. But
Yeah,
I was
and
gonna
also,
say,
Honestly, like he has to come back at some point.
he
I
will.
got,
think so.
I've got something. I've got
He will
something
on the
on
way.
that. I've got something on that real quick.
wait, can I say what I was gonna say right quick? Because I'm gonna forget if I don't say it.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just gonna say that what I was gonna say when Luis was talking before Graham made me think about the deep fake thing. I think also it served as a form of closure, like aside for us as fans, because we, it was sudden for everybody. Nobody knew he was sick. So I think,
Which is the
if we
most
would have
sad
been
part
into that
about it.
movie seeing a new person, I think it would have been jarring. Like even for people who were like, yeah, we want a new T'Challa, recast him. I think it still would have been a little like strange, and it would have just felt like they kind of like brushed off Chadwick's death. Like they're like, yeah, whatever, he's dead. Okay, we're moving on. It would have seemed like a money grab. So I think like having that kind of closure, that moment where we like, even in the movie, we kind of like are there with him when he dies. I think that was kind of important for us as fans too, to kind of have
To
that
move
moment
on a
to
little bit.
mourn. Yeah, to
Right.
mourn
Yeah.
and to be there and get
Mhm.
that kind of like, okay, we're here too. Like they didn't just
Yeah.
leave us out. They could have easily just started the movie and been like, oh, ever since T'Challa died a year ago,
Yeah,
like they didn't
yeah.
have to include us at all. They didn't have to include any of that. They could have kept that to themselves. They literally allowed us to kind of come in there with them and, experience the sorrow, experience, the feeling of needing closure and mourning and loss. I think that was really important for us as fans too. Like I think they really
Absolutely.
kind of took that into account. Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
opening.
agree. I agree.
That opening
I
was
agree
amazing.
because, like, all they are saying that valid points. I was like, they gotta recast him eventually, and I was like, no, don't recast him at all. Just do something different. And I was like, how did they move forward? I was going through this whirlwind of, thoughts and emotions. And then when I actually watched the movie and I saw the direction they went with it, like, all right, I said, we got to have that closure. That's the main thing I took from this whole film. It was closure, not just for, the cast and crew, but for all of us as fans and people who love love Black Panther, love T'Challa, love Chadwick. This is a big closure moment for all of us. And I took that and I was like, okay, I'm fine with this. That is okay. If they're not going to recast in this movie, that's fine. But knowing what I know about Kevin Feige and knowing how much he wants to tell certain stories and where the direction of the MCU is going right now, T'Challa will come back.
Absolutely. I think he's here.
How they're going to do it, there's many ways to do it. We like Graham said, the sun exists. We're in the middle of in the beginning, sort of the beginning phases of the multiverse saga. Either they're gonna time skip him or he's gonna multiverse in blue skidoo into that world, and they'll recast T'Challa eventually. But I think, me personally, I think a recast is a good idea, but recasting for this immediate movie right now would have not been a wise move.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I agree. The one thing I will say to critique this movie, I want to hear what Arya has to say, but some parts of the CGI, I know it's like a phase 4 thing, but the CGI in some parts look rough.
I don't know.
So believe it or not, I didn't really have a problem with it. Well, there was like 2 scenes I saw that it was like the background was kind of like, and then like the Midnight Angels, I know they have practical suits, but when they pulled their mask back, that's when it kind of broke it for me. Like I was okay until the mask went away, and I was
the Midnight Angels character design is dog shit.
Dog shit in the comics though, so it's like
Midnight.
It's really not the movie's
Okay,
fault.
so
It's
adapt it, so make it better.
Bro,
don't take something that's trash and be like, we'll also make it trash.
Those helmets made it look rough, but we're still complaining about that. Like, even some of the Ironheart suits.
Her Ironheart suit sucked. That Riri Williams Ironheart suit sucked. It sucked.
Let her make it because it was her first one. I'm gonna let her make it because it was her first one. So I expect when she goes back to MIT, she gets a good one.
She had Wakandan technology at her disposal, and that's the best she could come up with.
Captain America suit, and he had the
nobody liked the Captain Falcon. Only you and Matt. Only you and Matt like the Falcon Captain America suit. No, but
okay. So I
it was good though.
Oh yeah, let us know what you didn't like. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna start. I don't know. Do y'all want me to read a bullet point and we talk, or do you want me to just read the whole list?
Bullet point and talk.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first bullet point was, I felt like Riri felt kind of like a caricature of like a Black teenager, and especially like a Black female teenager. Like she was all like young, gifted, and Black. I don't know, just the things she would say. I feel like, I don't know if like Marvel's having trouble writing for like teenagers, but some of the teenage characters they have are very like cringe, and I don't like it. And
as a non-Black person, I have to excuse myself from this conversation.
Well, Matt, what did you think? Did you think? Did you think it was kind of like, I don't know, like some of the stuff she said or would do, I was like,
it didn't feel natural. That's the best way I can say.
Right.
But it's not a Dominique Thorne thing because she's an amazing actress. That's not her. So it was the writing. It was a writing issue.
Exactly.
Since we're talking about that part,
I don't think that she's not a good actress. I think she was great, but I think it was just certain stuff I was like.
And not to go on a tangent too much, I think that's my biggest critique with not just that part of the movie, with the entire freaking phase 4 to this point. The writing has not been the same way it has been in the first 3 phases. And then on top of that, you guys mentioned the CGI. I want to touch on that real quick because the comics version being doo-doo is not an excuse. That is not a valid excuse. We have seen garbage costumes across all Marvel and DC movies, shows translate onto screen, and they look completely amazing.
Like the Eternals.
There's no excuse. Exactly. The Eternals in the comics, I'm like, bro,
I hate them.
Why are you wearing this blue and red colored spandex? When you look at Icarus' suit, you look at all their suits, I'm like, this is incredible. Who came up with this? They were in there cooking. They were in there with the little syringe thing, dropping like perfect costumes together. I was like,
called a dropper.
I'm not a scientist, okay? I never said I was the smartest Avenger, bro. I'm the strongest Avenger.
Right.
So I was like,
Okay.
bro, how can you come up with this amazing freaking costume?
Shuri's suit did look good though. I
And
think
mm,
I love
I
okay,
think
it. I love
and
it.
maybe
Sorry.
this is me because I did not like T'Challa's suit in Black Panther.
bingo.
But
That's
I
my
liked
critique for Black
I
Panther
liked
1.
I
All
like
of
and
it was
it
ass.
touches back to the CGI thing too. These whole nanotech mask thing,
Yeah,
retractable mask, bro. Just go back to the practical suits, please. We need that. We desire that, and we demand that. We request it because,
Well,
like, look at
I
his
think
suit.
she has
Look
a
at his suit.
practical suit, but it's just, the
No, I
helmet.
mean like,
Because it's
I mean
more
like the
awkward. Like, imagine her fighting Namor, and then she's like,
Yeah, in the scene where she's talking to the royals and all the Wakandans in Jabari land with
yeah,
Yeah.
when
M'Baku.
when she
That
dropped
was a
down.
yeah. When she's talking, when she's like telling them what the plan is and that she wants to kill Namor or whatever, that's a practical suit. But
That's
every
what it
other
looked like.
time, it was
y'all don't think that's
CGI.
like a stunt performer?
Every other
No,
time it
like
was CGI. She was wearing a mocap suit and then they CGI'd her
exactly.
suit on. Like when she was talking to Nakia before going onto the ship in the ocean and fighting, when Nakia asks her, "Who'd you see in the ancestral plane?" and she doesn't answer, that it was CGI then. When she drops from the ship, it's CGI. When she's fighting Namor, it's CGI. And it looks like It looks like Steve
You can
Rogers, head getting CGI'd on a skinny
onto the
guy's
but
body.
yeah,
It looks like
you
it
can
just the uncanny valley is unreal, and it just looks weird. But
you can
your next
tell.
point, Araya, before we go on a long-winded discussion about the horrible CGI.
Okay. Okay. So my next one was, I don't know what this trend is in Marvel, whatever is, but this whole like queer representation. Like, yes, it's nice
Yeah, it's
to have
gross.
Io and it's nasty. Take it out. No,
Boo! Gross.
I'm just kidding, y'all. There are
Joke,
queer people
joke,
here,
joke.
but
Yeah, joking,
yeah.
joking, joking,
Get
So
him out of here.
joking.
no, I feel like every time we have like a queer character, they're like, here's a gay, okay, bye, like
Yeah.
What was
like,
even
no.
the scene? Was it at the end when she kisses
So
her head?
yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's
Io
the fucking
is
like. That's I wouldn't even. I thought that was two homies being like, "Hey,
just kissing
good
homie
battle."
on the
Like
cheek,
GG. I
and they were
do
GG.
that.
roommates.
Yeah,
And
no,
they
like
were roommates.
no, like I don't know, it's just very like, it's always like a little quick like, here's a gay,
Yeah.
like, and it's like Io is canonically a lesbian in the comics, so I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh shit, here we go, we finna see some scissoring, but no, we just got like a little yeah, and I was
Like in the
Yeah.
that first battle when they walk into the lab test, like they had like just a little
When the
quick one sentence. Hey, that music right there, that got me. That's mental. Was insane.
I was
But like they
bro,
could have had a little scene right there that was more like you should have brought the spear, or like you didn't have to bring that.
I mean,
yeah, I feel like
it's the age-old problem, right, of performative allyship, right? They're just like, yeah,
yeah,
we like gay people. Look, here's a gay person in our movie, but
Yeah.
that's
yeah,
literally it's only a personality trait. Like they're not an actual human being, and them being
exactly,
gay,
it's
and it's
like,
like we're
yeah,
gonna show you they're gay, but just by telling you or making them do the slightest thing that's
What was
indicative of
it?
them being gay. Yeah, we're not gonna make them a fleshed out character with
Right.
with emotions and motivations and needs and wants, and they just also happen to be gay. And here's a healthy gay queer relationship on screen. No, we're not gonna give you. So, but did you like? Okay, so then
Doctor
kind of
Strange.
I was just about to say
off
multiverse
topic.
of madness.
I was gonna say kind of off topic. Did you like Brian Tyree Henry character in
Mm,
I,
Eternals
I
Eternals.
I
Yeah.
thought it was
and
more
that
meaningful.
relationship?
Yeah, I feel like it was more like that, felt more meaningful because again, you kind of
It's
established like
fleshed
how he
out a
had
little
like
bit.
he had his family, he had his husband, he had his son, he had to protect them, and that was like part of the reason why he didn't want to go back out into the field. I don't know, the superhero field or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
like I feel like when it's something like that, it's more meaningful. But when you have a character that's everybody knows is a lesbian in the comics, and then you're like, she's just been chilling the whole movie and someone runs up and kisses her on the forehead. It's like, really? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's half-assed.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're just like, that was it. But
Shoehorned
okay,
in.
moving on to my next one. We kind of talked about M'Baku earlier, and I said like when I first went to see it, I was like, something just felt off. Like I don't know what it was,
Yeah.
but Luis kind of mentioned that he had like growth off screen, and I mean, of course, that's expected. It happens with other characters, but it just felt so sudden. Like he's still kind of the same, like witty M'Baku with his little comebacks, but at the same time, you could tell he'd kind of changed and grown as a person, but it was like we didn't see it and we weren't there for it. So it was like when it happened, when you would see him being like mature, you're like,
I'm gonna jump on that point because the same.
And if
thing
y'all have
happened,
anything else to say, M'Baku as well, now is the time.
I will start my point off with when he was roasting Okoye in Throne Room. He said, "You bald-headed demon." That was funny.
That's the funniest line in that movie.
That had me dying. I'm not gonna lie. Whenever that came on, like when I was in the theater, with some very inanimated people. I get animated in the movie theater. I laugh. I jump up. I start cheering. I be doing all types. I be speaking in tongues. I do all that.
So you're one of those people.
No, I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those recording myself screaming. I just get hyped and I sit down. But
slide shout.
Name drop. I get hyped. I do get excited. So when he said, "You bald-headed demon," I was like, that's something I would say. That's funny. And then I kept going. But M'Baku, the thing that you're talking about, the off-screen growth that really reminded me of the Hulk, having his off-screen character growth.
Yeah.
And like we didn't see any of it. So it didn't mean anything when he showed up as Smart Hulk to me. So I was like, what? Why?
Thanks.
I don't care about this. Thanks. You got beat up in the beginning of Infinity War.
It's a problem. I mean, it's a problem the MCU has been facing and is going to continue facing, right?
And
when you have a universe, when you have a universe that's this vast, that's this expensive, that has this many characters, and they don't all have their own individual projects or own shows or anything. I mean, they're gonna be moments where significant character growth happens off screen, and we're just gonna have to be able to learn to deal with it because it's gonna keep happening. And every character and like that's not an Avenger, right? That's like a side character in their movies. It's gonna have this moment from one movie to the next. You're gonna be like, "Yo, what happened? You have a kid now? You're married or whatever?" You're just like, "Wow, you're a completely different person." But it's because 8 years have passed since you've last seen them or whatever, and no movie's gonna focus on them, and no project's gonna focus on them, so it's gonna continue happening, and it sucks, because you're invested in those characters and you want them to have arcs that you can see and then you can go on, and you want to go on these journeys with these characters. But in a universe that's so expansive as the MCU is, it's just it's a nature of the game. It's gonna happen. But that is a genuine, I think that is a genuine critique,
complaint.
That is frustrating.
I agree with what you just said, because and I mean, for a character like M'Baku, for those of y'all who if you don't know about the comics, go look up M'Baku and read up on him real quick. He is mainly he's an antagonist.
He's man-ape. They don't call him M'Baku.
He's not even M'Baku. He's great gorilla, white gorilla, man-ape. He is a villain. He is evil.
Did you say a slur?
Villain.
I was about to say who.
Stanley was like, "This is gonna hit."
Yeah.
He is evil. Okay, so he's out here.
Yes. Who created M'Baku? Do you know?
Matthew Wahoo.
Well,
no. What writer? What writer?
Do we know? It was created by it's funny. We had a whole video. We had a whole side story. We had a whole set of character videos that we had made for these characters in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. We scrapped that idea. We scrapped that idea because we were going to talk about it in this podcast.
It was white men.
My mind went the two guys.
My mind went blank.
Yeah, they look rough.
But
they said, what would be a good idea? Naming this black character Man-Ape. Yeah. They said, we did it. The black community is going to embrace us now.
They're this is so empowering, guys. Yeah. They're going to love it.
They said, you're welcome, black community.
I'm excited to see him moving forward, though, as the king.
Yeah. So I think.
Because that was established, right? Because he is king.
Yeah.
He's the king, and Shuri's
Shuri did not challenge. Nope. Shuri did not challenge.
He said the Black Panther sends her regards.
Is this not something? Is this not something you want? You don't want?
I don't think she knew that.
I thought that was like a joke. I thought
no.
What?
Shuri. Yeah, Shuri never once.
I'm glad. A woman should not lead a country that powerful.
But Queen Ramon did.
Look what happened. She got killed, and Wakanda got flooded, and it got invaded.
Oh my God!
Jesus
I thought that was
Christ.
a joke. all the
Jesus
time.
Christ.
I'm joking. Okay.
Jesus
No, it was
Christ.
no. He's gonna be king.
Yeah,
moving forward.
I love it though. I actually
I fuck with
think
it. I love
it's
him.
awesome.
I think but back to the point I was trying to make at
Damn,
the
she
Oh,
is
beginning.
my
shook
bad.
right now.
Back to the point I was trying to make at the very beginning of all this.
Oh, my bad.
Um
Son of a gun.
characters like M'Baku. Now if they went comics route and they built him up as a character, I would expect them to do on-screen development. And since he's kind of been sidelined, so to speak, I wouldn't expect to see him do now something like the Hulk. I would have expected something to see the growth from, man, I'm struggling with this inner demon that turns me into a big old rage monster. But I want to
But
see
now
him,
I feel like that
you know,
kind of makes the
develop that.
point stand more. I'm sorry, I
I mean, like I guess what I'm trying to say is that, like, if it's someone who's like Luis said, if someone's not a main Avenger or a big name character like a Star-Lord, look at Star-Lord's growth from movie 1 to now. Even in like Infinity War and Endgame and everything, he was a different person from where he started off in Guardians 1. You're not gonna see that with Ebony Maw or somebody no one is paying attention to. I mean, I'm paying attention to M'Baku because I'm paying attention to everybody, but like, you're not gonna see that. You're not gonna see that.
Top
You're
of
not gonna see
development.
that growth, that development. You know.
But now
That
I feel
makes
like
sense.
that kind of makes the point stand more because now
I
I'm
kind
like,
of agree.
because I feel like I thought he was just being a silly little guy. I thought he was just being a silly guy. Like I'm at a loss for words. Like I'm very genuinely shook right now. I thought that was just a joke.
We
I
haven't
thought it
even
was
talked
like,
about
haha,
Namor.
remember when I did this in the last movie? Wasn't it crazy? Like I thought we were supposed to laugh. I laughed.
That's a great
in the
point,
theater,
Graham.
actually. I did laugh. I was like, ha.
Before
But-
we get to the
yeah.
next point, actually, now that I think about it, Graham did bring something up. We haven't talked about Namor. We're gonna take another quick break real quick. And at this point, if you haven't seen the movie at this point, you're still watching. Sorry to that man. You're about to miss. You're about to hear one of the greatest like dialogues.
Or woman or non-binary person.
Or yet, thank you, Luis. To them, them, all of y'all. If you haven't seen the movie yet and you're still watching and listening, I don't know what to tell you. You
We're about to
Sorry,
move on.
not
I'm still stuck on
sorry.
the M'Baku
So
thing.
Yeah.
She is shook right now.
Go
So
grab a
let's take
snack
break
or
so she
grab
can-
a drink, and
yeah,
then
she needs
and
to
then
get
we'll
her
be right
bearings
back.
straight. She
So
just
we're about to get
went some
into
shocking
the third act of our first episode. Y'all ready for this? All
But
right.
is
So
he gonna be the Black Panther now? Like,
No.
Oh my god.
They mentioned that the titles aren't mutually exclusive. You can be
Okay,
Black
so
Panther
give
and
me-
not be king.
But
So 10 seconds. King T'Chaka was king in Civil War, and Black Panther
And Black-
T'Challa
and
was Black
T'Challa was
Panther.
Black
no,
Panther.
no, because when
We're about to get cut off, fellas.
when Killmonger challenged T'Challa and he became king, he became Black Panther. So
we'll touch on that. We'll
Winston
touch on
Duke
the next
technically
segment.
become that too?
We'll touch on that in the next segment. So let's take our break and we'll come back. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back to the podcast for episode 1. Let's continue where we left off from our break. We're gonna dedicate this last bit of the episode to talking about Namor. Dang, I can't roll my R's today. I need to go to sleep. I can't roll my Namor
El
And-
niño sin amor.
and Talocan. One thing I guess I kind of wanted to start off and just say that, you know, Atlantis is nothing to me, bro. After seeing Talocan,
Yeah.
I don't care about no
Period.
Aquaman, no Atlantis. I don't care
Yeah.
about Arthur Curry. Arthur Curry can freaking get
Who?
fish fried, bro. Aquaman, weak as hell. I don't care. Okay. Stand up. Talocan, stand up. I'm not even from down. I'm Wakanda Forever, but I'm still representing. You know what I'm saying? We're here. I just like the direction that, and you know, speaking of the direction that they took on this, Ryan Coogler is the right man to take up a character like Namor and
Yeah.
elevate him to the status that in the comics, Namor is incredible. Don't get me wrong, but the way he was on screen here,
Incredible.
It was.
yeah, he was incredible.
Oh no, he's
Let's
a good.
buy
He's a good
that.
He's a
He
good.
goes
He is.
hard.
He's,
No,
he's
trust
a
me.
badass
So-
in the comics.
He goes
He's-
hard. He
yeah,
goes hard in the
he's-
comics, but he goes
Yeah.
hard. He goes
Damn.
harder on screen, bro. This
Yeah,
man
I
went
agree.
crazy.
The dick
You
riding
ever-
crazy.
First of all, when he showed up in Wakanda, and he didn't even say like, I'm Namor. I'm here to. Where's the vibranium? Where's the sign? He just walked up and said, "My mother used to tell me about this." Like the way he just started explaining,
Yeah.
dove into it. Even though Ramonda was demanding answers, he just
See, and that's one thing. I know people like talk shit about Marvel and whatever, and it has its problems, whatever. Like, but one thing that I will always give them credit for is that their casting, for
Oh,
the most part,
yeah.
is pretty
Mm.
spot on.
Yeah.
Their casting for the most part, like everybody,
Writing for them is different, but the casting
yeah,
is
like the event who they cast for the Avengers was like pretty
Perfect.
A1. I can't
Mhm.
unsee them now.
Mhm.
It's like Mark Ruffalo, whatever, but it's like everybody else is pretty A1, you know, and
Yeah.
it's like the casting of Tenoch Huerta as Namor is
Oh,
it's
Yeah.
perfect.
Chef's kiss.
When they first announced him being cast as Namor, like, you know, I feel like, of course, you know, people were like complaining, like, oh, like they're trying to replace the white characters or whatever.
Yeah.
And it would have been very easy to literally
Replace
just take a
them.
Mexican actor and be like,
Replace them.
here you go.
Mhm.
But like they went the extra mile, beyond the extra mile, really. They gave him this background, a cultural history, and not just like
yeah.
Latino culture, like indigenous Latino culture, you know, where he was Mayan, they're speaking native Mayan, you know, like they had this whole extra dynamic to it that didn't even have to happen. That, like I said, they literally could have just been like, here's a Mexican actor. Okay, good. Bye. Like we filled our diversity quota for the movie. Good.
Or
Yeah.
they could
You
have,
know, but they didn't do that. They went the extra mile. They did the research. I think a lot of people probably didn't even realize that there's still a lot of people of Mayan descent, you know, still living today. So I think that was like really cool how they did that. Like,
Yeah, I think
you know.
I think the way they approached Talocan and Namor and like all their characters and character designs and like backstory and stuff, like again, it was handled very like respectfully and like and with like pretty perfectly. You know, the fact that they were like, okay, we're gonna take this goofy ass character that's Namor who wears green tights and has wings on his ankles, and we're gonna make him not only like cool and badass and sexy and like menacing and like super pretty freaking cool, and we're gonna steep him in Mesoamerican culture. And not only that, and we're gonna cast actors of who are Mayan or who are of indigenous descent,
indigenous,
and we're
yes.
gonna make him speak Mayan, and
Yeah.
he's gonna be an indigenous actor. It's like they did all these things,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I just like again like and we know that the weight that Black Panther like has within like the black community, you know, is unparalleled, right?
Right.
Mhm.
You know, and I say that speaking from the outside, right? Like
Yeah.
it's understandable. So like being Mexican American and seeing like so many Mexicans on screen and like Mesoamerican culture depicted
Yeah.
on screen, and but not only that, but now it didn't feel shoehorned in, and it didn't
Yeah.
feel like they like it was half-assed. Like it felt like they took their time and they approached it. They approached it with empathy,
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know,
Did their
and
research.
they did the research, and I think they handled it very beautifully. And just to cut my rant short, I think Tenoch Huerta is an amazing actor, a fantastic, phenomenal actor. I've been a fan of
He's
his forever,
he
and I'm
slept on,
so
bro.
glad he's
People
finally
people
getting his
sleeping on him.
flowers. I'm so glad he's finally getting his flowers, and I hope this is the beginning of many, many, many more roles to come for him
Yeah.
here in the
Oh
States.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love him so much, and I think he stole the movie, and every scene that he was in, he ate and
You
left no
know,
crumbs.
Absolutely.
But
I saw him in Narcos, and whenever I saw that he was cast as Namor, I was like, yo, all right, let's go. Let's see what this man can do. I want to see. And then hearing how he talked leading up to the film, you know, the drop of the movie, about how he's representing for, you know, the brown boys and girls out there watching this movie. I was like, that stood out to me hard, because that's the same thing I felt watching Chadwick be Black Panther.
Yeah.
You
mhm.
know, there's little boys and girls everywhere around the world who are watching this, who are going to watch this movie and be like, that's someone I can see myself in.
Yeah.
That's a
Mhm.
cool character I can stand. You know, like
Shout out Ryan
black and
Coogler.
Yeah, shout out
black
Ryan
and brown.
Coogler.
Like he has been able to handle two characters that, like y'all said, they're representative. Like
Yeah.
And two
massive
cultures, right? And
Two
two
cultures.
two
yeah.
separate, not completely separate ones, because I mean, but like
Because
he just handled
when you
both
see
of them to the T.
when you
To the
watch
T.
other movies, not and it doesn't have to be MCU or DCU or any other movie in general. Like you see a black character or a Mexican character or any character of various range of ethnicity outside of white, like they're usually relegated to like a side character or the comic relief. Like
Right.
look at Luis and Ant-Man. Like
I was
Oh
like, what?
yeah.
oh no, not you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like-
Look at
I was
Luis and
like,
Ant-Man. The one movie that you actually hate in MCU.
And he's the best part of that.
One.
He's
first movie.
he's the best part.
Two. That's the only trilogy I hate. I hate that third one too. It hasn't even come out.
Bro.
I already hate it.
You're
But
sleeping.
for me, I'm mixed. I'm black and Mexican. So for me,
Uh-huh.
every time anybody was on screen, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
She was
it's
like,
been-
yeah.
yeah,
She was like,
yeah.
I was split both times. I'm like,
Pick a
she was
side.
doing
yeah,
both.
like,
She's
like I
But
was
yeah,
lit.
that's
So it was
that's
cool
that's
to kind
a
of
big,
see like both sides of my culture like represented. Like I was like, oh my god,
and that's
like
the big takeaway I took from this system, the representation of various cultures, various peoples, done properly, done well. So it's not just some type of here you go, here's your representation, sprinkle it in there a little
It
bit.
was done respectfully, and I think
Mhm.
like many things or like anything, like there's always going to be the detractors, and like I'm we're all pretty active on Twitter, and I've seen plenty of indigenous people kind of coming at a lot of Latinos, Latina people, because they're all very excited and kind of happy and about the Noche Huertas casting in this film, and like the representation, and like Namor being a big character and everybody loving him and everyone's like super excited about it. And then like I've seen a lot of indigenous people commenting and saying, you guys are missing the point. Namor's not a Latino character. He's an indigenous
Mhm.
character. He's like,
They
Yeah.
even
and I get that, and that's it's true. It's fair. It's valid. He even says the Spanish came with their hateful
I was
language
about to say
and
that
hateful
they
dogma
even
and
said
their
that.
disease. And so I
Mhm.
get it, and I understand. But the actor is Mexican. The Noche
Mhm.
Huerta is Latino,
Yeah.
and so
Mhm.
and so and a lot of people from Latin America are of indigenous descent, because hey, that's how colonization works. And so it's like I understand the nuance of that conversation and the nuance of that situation, but I just think we should grant people grace, because these conversations are difficult to have, and they're not conversations that are had every day, right?
Right.
And I think this is such new ground for many people to experience for the first time, and it's new ground for these films to uh, reach for the first time. And so I think if we can kind of approach it with a sense of grace and grant everybody grace, then we can all learn to come and enjoy and love this, because it is a big deal for Latine people, for indigenous people, and everything in between and everybody in between, specifically from the Latin American, Mesoamerican kind of perspective. So but
Yeah.
like I said,
Absolutely.
sorry,
Oh,
Ryan, go. I was just saying that I think they
No,
approach it
you finish.
as respectfully as possible. Maybe not perfectly, because people will always have, you know,
their
Complaints.
gripes.
Yeah.
something. Yeah, their gripes about things,
Yeah.
but I think it was handled as best as you possibly could.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, on the flip side of that coin, like, people will always be like, oh, we love Latino actors in the MCU, and of course they'll have Oscar Isaac and Tenoch Huerta and Zochitl Gomez, and I don't know the actor's name from Werewolf by Night because I
Gal Garcia,
Oh,
still
Gal
haven't
Garcia
seen
bro.
Bernal,
it.
Gal Garcia
I
Bernal.
still haven't seen it.
Yes.
So, yeah, but nobody ever includes Zoe Saldana, Lupita Nyong'o, and
Yeah.
Tessa Thompson, and they're all also Latina. So it's like, I mean, that's
That
a
boy
whole
said-
nother
What?
conversation. in and of
Latinos
Was-
itself.
being anti-black? That's crazy.
What?
No way. I don't believe it. No
Never
way.
Like,
heard of
Yeah.
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
believe it or not, I've witnessed it with my own eyes in my own family. But
Fake
anyway,
news. Fake news.
Has war
yeah, and it's like,
flashbacks.
so like people never want to include them, but it was nice to see Lupita speaking Spanish. I was like, that's my girl.
Yeah.
That's
Bro,
my
she
girl.
spoke. Do you realize she spoke 5 languages in that movie?
English,
5.
Spanish, Mayan,
French.
Mayan.
Wakandan, and French, right?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, I was like,
That's my queen. That's my
Hey,
queen. I
hey,
love
She
her.
is
yo.
amazing.
I can't even
think
speak one language properly. Like, how she speak five? Bro?
I was gonna say I think that's something that this movie just got down pretty well. It's just like every
But it feeds
everybody's
into her
act.
character too, because she's a
Hmm.
spy, so she has to be kind of
Exactly.
well versed.
But
A
what I was gonna
war
say
dog.
is that everybody's like all the actors in this movie were just like phenomenal, right? Like
I don't think
Denai Guerrera, she was amazing.
I
Okoye
don't
was
think a
amazing.
single
Ayo
Angela
was amazing.
Bassett,
Oh, Angela Bassett. Of
like
course.
her
How
and
did we
her
forget
and
about?
she and Namor Tenoch
there
Huerta, they
was
put up the best
the
performances in this movie.
the best
She was
performance.
unbelievable.
The
That's right.
best
How did we
performance
forget
in the
about her?
MCU is gonna be that scene when she's
R.I.P.
talking to the UN, because when she was like, you could feel the pain.
I
The
don't.
way
Her
she's
talking to Okoye
talking
was
to
rough.
talking to you to
Yeah,
UN was
I
one thing,
agree,
but yeah,
Graham.
talking to Okoye, you can feel the pain when she's talking
Dude,
to
that
Okoye.
hurt.
So like, and then
I
pair
lost
that with
everybody.
just knowing what has gone on in the MCU,
Yeah.
knowing about
Yeah.
the Wakandan Civil War, the Battle of Earth, the snap, all
Yeah.
the stuff that's happened.
Look at
in the
that
last,
scene,
like,
and then look at the Ant-Man trilogy, and it's like it's like it doesn't even compare.
he's
Ass
beefing.
Man,
He's beefing with
Ass Man and the Wasp,
he's
Quantumania.
beefing with Ant-Man. Like, but
Hard.
it's a valid statement though. Look at that level.
It's the only statement
Look
that
at the
counts.
caliber of acting that was in this movie. Not a single person was
That's that white mediocrity.
not acting not a single person was not acting to their level, to the proper level. Everyone came in with 100% effort. I don't know if that's because they're doing it for Chadwick or because they knew this was like going to be a big deal or what, but they did what they had to do. It was absolutely necessary. And I will always commend and praise Angela Bassett for, like, I'm tired of seeing her in that.
Dude, we're lucky that they even got her.
Let me make my point real quick. I'm tired of seeing her in that 911 show because she's not acting to her full potential. Put her in more movies like Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, because the way she was acting was like, I know
She's
she's
getting
a great
that bag
actor.
in 911 though.
Man, nobody want to see that, bro.
Somebody does, because she's in the bag.
I'm all
I'm
for
not trying to see that. I'm trying to
Black
see.
Queen getting her bag. What you talking
No, I'm
about?
trying to see this
Bro, Matt is
phenomenal
anti-black woman,
movement.
yo.
I know.
Huh?
Matt's anti-black women getting the
Time
bag.
out. Time out.
Is there
Time
something you
out.
want to share with
He
the
said
group?
I'd
Time
rather my black actresses get killed off in a movie than have lead their own show on
Time
daytime
out.
television.
Time out.
That's
Like,
crazy.
Here's why I'm
That
saying.
he said
Here's
not
what I'm
my he said
saying.
not my America.
Here's why I'm saying what I'm saying. I lost interest in that 911 show. Even though she was in it and she was doing great, I lost interest immediately.
I haven't seen it.
I watched it.
Me either.
You can't even comment.
Huh?
Yes, we can.
I
And
can
we
comment.
can.
Because guess who's getting paid? Who's the lead? Angela Bassett. Who getting that bag? Angela Bassett.
Actually, there's
And
a
I'm here for it.
firefighter on there. But anyway, the point I'm making is that
I get what you're saying now.
the performance that she gave in this movie was so like you can
Riveting.
you can feel everything.
It's the best performance in MCU.
She wasn't acting as Queen Ramonda. She was Queen Ramonda.
Yeah.
She was doing
that's
that.
what I
That wasn't just reading lines off a page. Man,
No, like I'm saying,
Wasn't
no.
she though?
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like that, despite everything, the MCU, and sometimes they waste their actors like this, but they get pretty great actors.
Christian Bale.
Tony Leung, as Wenwu, another icon,
They
legend, fantastic.
wasted him.
Yeah.
Right, Angela Bassett. Then
I liked his story in Shang-Chi. I think his arc. I like the way he ended.
They should do more. Oh look,
But everybody
agree,
in this cast was making Mabel Cadena. She didn't get enough to do, but she was great.
Yeah,
Alex
she was good.
Livinali.
They're gonna bring it. They're hinting at her. Okay, I don't want to say this because I don't want to be wrong. But
We're not official. Who cares? Say it,
bro. We got official
Even though we
in
were,
our
who cares?
email.
Say it.
So I think she has some kind of influence over Namor. Because like
They're
you saw,
close, right?
dude, it's Namora. Oh,
You saw at the end-
Namora
yeah,
and
I know.
Namora, dude, they
But you
are
saw at the end
beefing.
of- you
They
saw at
do
the end
not
of the
like
movie.
each
You
other.
saw at the
they
end
don't
of
like
the
each
movie.
other in the comics, Grim.
No. Well,
But you saw at the end of the movie how
I
she's
thought they were
talking like, I wouldn't.
besties.
You
No,
saw
they're
she's talking
like,
at the end of the movie how she's like, I never thought she would bow to the Wakandans, and then he feels a type of way about that. So he's gonna obviously like take that as like some type of like, oh well, she's
gonna like revolt against
I'm
him
stand
soon,
up.
probably.
Exactly. That's what I was leading to. There's gonna be some type of friction in Wakanda 3, Black Panther 3, if he's supposed
or
to
in
be
the
part of that.
Thunderbolts.
Or exactly. In whatever future appearances
Or in Namor the
in,
Submariner.
I don't think they're gonna
Yeah.
go that
Yeah,
TV show route. They need to give him a
sadly.
movie.
Oh yeah, I hope he doesn't get a Disney Plus show.
Give him a
Yeah, with how
movie.
they are, I don't want I don't want him near a Disney Plus show, not even as a cameo.
Hell no.
Ooh, I will say, speaking of that though, in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the best part of that whole show was when the Dora Milaje come in
What
and
show?
Yes.
wanting Zemo, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Captain
Never-
America and
never
the
heard of
Winter
it.
Soldier.
Oh, yeah, that's
Captain
the
America-
scene that was.
I thought y'all
Captain-
were serious. I'm like,
No, Luis just
both
on
of you,
one.
are y'all good?
Captain America and the
Let me take y'all's temperature.
Winter
What's
Soldier.
wrong?
No, that's the worst of the MCU shows by far. But that scene where they came in wanting Zemo and Sam and Bucky have to like defend them. That's
That's
bro.
damn you,
Okoye.
James.
And
Oh,
then when
that's
she,
That was not
and
a
when
Okoye,
she,
that
Oh
was-
no,
And
it
then-
wasn't. It wasn't Okoye.
that was Ayo.
Yeah.
They
Oh
before
shit.
then I googled it out for that show.
And
Oh,
then when
Graham,
she-
Graham said all black people look the same.
Oh,
my god.
Graham, no, bye.
Damn, Graham, come on, bro. You and Matt both on one
I
podcast?
I didn't say that.
Supposed to be the
I
Luis
make
and
my-
Mariah show.
I make
Mm-mm.
my
Didn't say
leave.
that.
Yeah, Matt was like, Graham was like, it was nice knowing y'all.
Graham was ready. He's like, okay, bye.
Like, all right,
So,
I'll take that out.
We no longer rocking with Mark.
I think we should give, yeah, I think we should give Wakanda Forever a 1 out of 10 rating.
Yeah,
Overall.
I think that's a
Yeah.
good way to
It's woke.
kind of close out our
The woke.
discussion on the movie.
Too woke.
We'll just give everybody their 1
Too
out
many
of
black
10
people.
rating.
Too many brown people and gays. Disgusting.
Black
Negative.
people, gays. The white people were only in like 4 scenes. The
Yeah.
white people were the villains in this movie. Can you believe it?
And ridiculous. That's ridiculous. They're trying to erase our history.
What?
What
Sorry,
is happening right now?
They're trying to erase our history, God damn it. In what world is Everett Ross a bad guy? That's crazy.
I want to see more Spider-Man.
Yeah, where's that good where's that nice fellow, Spider-Man? Yeah, that's
Hey,
a
for
good
all
pick.
y'all listening right now, this is
Where-
not Graham
where's
talking.
That was Graham.
Not Graham.
Spider-Man. Say Spider-Man, Graham. Say it for the fans.
Spider-Man.
Araya loves how he said,
Spider-Man.
yeah, Araya loves how
Spider-Man.
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 Batman.
Spider-Man.
Let's go Spider-Man. Let's go with Araya.
Terrence
What do you give?
Terrence
What do you
Howard.
give Wakanda Forever out of 10? Since you hated it.
Y'all aren't gonna believe me though. I was gonna say a 9 out of 10.
Okay. Matt,
9 out of 10. Mhm.
Graham.
I'd say, 8.5, 9.
Yeah. I was gonna say 8. Just
No, I'm gonna give it an 8.5, really.
because I've seen it 3 times. I've seen it
Yeah.
3 times, and I enjoy it. I love it. I didn't talk about the things that we didn't think worked, and I think one of the things is that it's incredibly overstuffed.
Yeah,
It's trying to
there's a lot going
do
on.
way too much.
Yeah.
Cut-
That was one of my points too.
Cut
I was
Ironheart.
That movie was long.
It was-
that movie
yeah.
was long.
Cut
by the time
Riri
we got to the
Williams.
end,
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? Like
Mhm.
I
I
was
have
trying
something to
remember
say about
something
that,
happened and I
actually.
couldn't.
Cut the
I have
Riri
some-
stuff. Cut
Give
the
me more
Everett
Talon
Ross
Khan
stuff.
I
Cut
have
the
something-
Valentina
Riri,
stuff.
Cut the
I
Val.
have something to
I
say
did like
about,
seeing Val though.
I have
actually.
something to say about
I did
both of
too.
those characters now that you mentioned Val and Ironheart.
What?
She was pegging him.
Ironheart should have been. I think the problem with having Ironheart in the movie, and then they were gonna do an Armor Wars TV show and an Ironheart TV show, right? But then they're like, okay, we're gonna do an Armor Wars movie. So why not just introduce her in the Armor Wars movie?
I think the
Like-
Ironheart show's coming before the Armor Wars, but I
Yeah,
I
but,
agree. I
Because
But also-
they're filming Ironheart
saying-
now.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I'm just,
Also,
I'm just, oh, no, they already
Or no,
wrapped
they
up
just
filming.
wrapped
They already
filming.
wrapped up filming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't this
Mephisto
movie
confirmed.
like after Chadwick died? Wasn't there like talk of this movie was gonna be a show, but then they ended up like making it a movie? Or
So-
No,
is this
there is a
something
show
else?
coming
like they're
out,
making
though.
a Wakanda show.
Yes, Ryan
Yeah.
Coogler himself is making a Disney Plus series.
They're making
Okay,
aren't
so
they
that's still
making
happening.
Wakanda centric shows like
Mhm.
multiple?
yeah,
There's gonna be
multiple.
multiple.
Mhm, mhm. And
Oh,
that's
I
a
thought it
weird.
was just like
hey.
one, like an anthology almost, like it follows different characters.
No, it'll be
Probably.
multiple shows, but I kind of heard you brought up M'Baku and like that off-screen development stuff.
Yeah, because
I
I was gonna
Jabari
say,
show.
I was
dude,
like,
I heard a
Jabari show.
Jabari show.
There's gonna
and
be a
Dora
Jabari
Milaje
show.
show.
If
And
there's
then
gonna be a
maybe-
Jabari show, I'm here for it. I'm all for it.
Like that's kind of what the rumor mills of saying. I'm sure
But
that shit's changed.
As
What
long
I
as
was
it's not
saying-
6 episodes, I'm good, baby.
what I was
Facts.
saying about
Period.
Ironheart and Val, we already know that Val's gonna be the I guess I'll say the Nick Fury, Amanda Waller type character moving
Amanda Waller for
forward.
sure. Yeah.
So why not just let her be? Why not let her be like a cameo scene, like a brief cameo, or like a post credits? She's doing something like how she showed up in Black Widow. At the
Maybe she
very end.
tries to
Why
talk
not
to
do
Namor
something
and he
like
bitch
that?
slaps her or something.
Yeah, he kills her.
I do not.
But okay, so going back to the Namora and Namora thing, I was gonna say, do y'all think Namora would be the one to kind of go to Val or
Yes,
somebody and
yes.
be like,
Yes.
here's some vibranium?
Well, no.
but like,
no.
maybe not giving the vibranium, but be the
she's
ones to kinda
she's
like,
anti-Wakanda, not so much pro
I think she
surface
hates,
world.
I think she
She's
hates
just
the surface world.
anti-Wakanda.
She hates
Right.
the surface world more than she hates Wakanda, like the rest of the surface world.
Yeah.
More so than she hates
but
Wakanda
do y'all
in
think
general.
she would be the one
think-
to like,
I think the beef with
I guess
Wakanda.
like sanction the like, I don't want to say relationship between Wakanda
No.
and Talokan, but
I get
do
what
you
you're
think she
saying.
would be the one to kind of like
No,
do something
I think-
to like sell them out to Val? Like, who's
I
to
think-
say she wouldn't go to Val and be like, hey, I got some dirt on
Atuma will.
Wakanda, you know?
Atuma will.
I think yeah, the Atuma Nomura thing is kind of like Namora's weak. He's showing empathy for the surface world.
Right.
He's not good for us. We gotta take him out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
at the end of the day, Wakanda is still surface world, and we
Mhm.
don't fuck with none of them.
Yeah.
It don't
They're
matter
gonna-
what you are,
they're
who you
gonna-
are. It's us or them, and that's what you told us, and that's what
Exactly.
you taught us. And
Yeah.
now you've changed your tune, and
They're
we
gonna
don't
Because you were
like that.
thirsty.
What was
Yeah,
that?
and we don't like that. So
They're gonna
we
be like,
gotta
you've
overthrow
gone
you.
soft. They're
Yeah,
gonna be,
you've gone
gotten
soft. Yeah,
Why do you have
yeah.
bro? What now? I can't think of what movie or show I was that's like a common trope in like a lot of things anyway. But there's
All
a
of 'em,
specific one I'm
everything?
thinking.
Yeah.
There's a specific movie I'm talking about, and I cannot remember it. No, I'm freaking stupid. Guardians of the Galaxy. Remember when they were beefing within the Ravagers? And that one
Oh,
person
yeah.
in the
Oh,
Ravagers
they're
were like,
talking about,
Yondu, like,
what
you've
you
gone
call it?
soft, Yondu. You're not hard anymore. I'm
Then
taser
Yondu
face.
like
And
did he,
Yondu like
demolish him?
whistle arrowed them up.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of what was going. That's kind of what's going to be going on. They're like, they're like, Kukulkan, you've gone soft. What's your problem?
Well-
You're over here like you have care for the surface world. They pollute our waters. They kill our people. Blah blah
Mhm.
blah. They're gonna have an
You
uprising.
sleep with
They
our
wanna-
women.
Well, my child.
And that thing about Val, she was talking to Ross whenever they were in that house or whatever, and she called him out and was like, yeah, I tapped your phone, like, dumbass, like you should have known I was gonna do that. And
So she knows what's going on.
he said, well, what do you think? Like, what could have Wakanda have done with vibranium
She
and
said she
making
dreams
weapons?
of it.
Dreams of the U.S. being
Imperial
the only
behavior.
country. Exactly.
Imperial
So
behavior.
Thunderbolts,
Great
she's
Britain
gonna definitely
activity.
send, now that Wakanda is obviously the capital is destroyed.
She's doing Queen of England activity, bro. Queen of
Yeah.
England behaviors.
But did you see that or that report that said that Thunderbolts is going to introduce a very important thing
Yes.
into the MCU?
Yes.
Adamantium.
It's adamantium, right? Like,
Adamantium.
Well,
Can we-
adamantium is vibranium. They just couldn't use the word vibranium back in the X-Men days because copyright bullshit. But,
vibranium
yeah.
doesn't exist in the
Well,
comics.
No, it does.
it
But when the
does.
X-Men, the only reason adamantium does is because it's a thing. But the X-Men movies had to say Wolverine was made of adamantium. But
Uh-huh.
he's actually made of vibranium.
He is.
Yeah.
So what
it's-
if it became a thing where it was like they like when at the end of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, if y'all remember what that is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Like John Walker, like he tried to
Who?
make his own shield kind of thing. Like
Yes.
what if they kind of do something similar, but they're like, oh, we discovered this similar substance. It's called adamantium, and that's
about
how.
that-
Oh,
Yeah.
that
About
okay.
that.
That could
Captain
that could be
America's
it.
shield is supposed to be a vibranium adamantium alloy. So
Yeah.
Absolutely.
it's
Yes.
gonna
Yeah,
it's
so
gonna
like, that
be
would be
that's
kinda
what they're gonna
like
do.
Maybe after they try to go to war with Talokan and Wakanda, and they're like, okay, that's not gonna work. So here we got this other kind of metal. It's called adamantium, and that could kind of like get that.
What's
To
gonna
be
happen-
honest, the Thunderbolts plot seems stupid to me because they can't beat Wakanda. Who's gonna beat them? Yelena?
I think they're gonna fuck some
Ghost?
shit up. Like
Ghost?
I think they're gonna.
Oh, sorry, Red Guardian's gonna kill everybody in Talokan. They're getting bodied by Namor, by
Yeah.
They're
Shuri.
literally like
Shuri's
people in
dog
Talokan
walking
are,
all of
like,
them.
undefeatable. Like you can't beat them. They come back to life. You could
The
stab them. And
the
they just like,
Dormilaje
okay.
and Shuri bodying the entire Thunderbolts.
bro.
Solo.
One Dora. One.
What if
Dora
they cause an
Milaje.
incursion?
Like
How?
how?
Because they're getting in too deep and they're stupid. Like David Harbour had that interview and he said they're just a bunch of losers that don't really know. Like he straight up said that like we're losers. We don't know what the
Okay,
fuck we're
if I wanted-
doing.
If I wanted to
just
see a
kinda, like,
team of
getting
losers,
sent
I would
in.
watch. I want to
So
see
the
there's
Texans.
Texans.
Like
I'd watch the
Suicide
Texans.
Squad kind of thing.
I was gonna say I'd watch the Suicide Squad, then I thought, well,
Oh.
let me say somebody else. I was gonna watch the Phillies, but I was like, you know what? Nah, it's too soon.
I'll tell you, it's the Suicide Squad. Oh, too soon.
Too
Cheaters.
soon.
So I you know,
2 World Series though, baby. Ah!
H Tyler
It's because he's a Rangers fan. so he's never-
I was just about to say. It's
He's never gonna see that in
You're
his life.
alive.
He's never gonna see that in his
If I
I
life.
wanted
don't
to watch
remember
it,
seeing them in the playoffs. I don't know.
if I want to watch
Because
a team
they
about
suck.
losers, I'd watch the Rangers.
No.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see how I get what they're trying to do. I get their motives.
Mhm.
I'm at the point where like I'm no longer like, dang, this is gonna suck. Now I'm like, okay, I kind of want to see where they're going with this. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
go ahead and build something, because I mean, look at the Suicide Squad. And
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that the first one, the 2016 Suicide. I'm
Jesus.
talking about
David
James
Ayer.
Gunn.
Release the
Yeah.
Ayer
Release the
cut.
Ayer cut, baby.
Please, God,
Ayer
keep
cut.
that somewhere. Keep that wherever the fucking vault you have locked.
And release it. I need
No.
to see it.
And
I need it.
whenever we do our DC topic, one of the future episodes when we talk about DC, I'll expand on my whole thoughts on that. But I don't think they're ever going to
Yeah.
release the
No,
Ayer
they
cut.
won't.
Of course
No,
they're
they won't.
not.
James
I don't
Gunn
think
straight
James
up said,
Gunn don't want
please
that.
stop. He came out in a tweet and was like, I see it. Please stop. It's
So
not
you thought
happening.
you thought I was feeling you? You thought I was releasing you?
that
That
dude.
movie.
Okay, I
movie-
have
no.
one more point about Black Panther, and then
Go for it.
I'm good. I just want to say, compared to all of Phase 4, to end on this movie with it being well paced and this like more serious tone, more definitely like down to earth movie than what we've gotten in like Shang-Chi, Multiverse of Madness, and like even No Way Home, which was phenomenal. But everything else compared to this has been awful writing. The production, like we said, we've talked about the CGI, it's rough. I just feel like this movie was the perfect movie to end this weird phase. It's just been a
Yeah, I
weird
hope it
phase.
kind of ushers in like a new tone.
Yeah,
for
like
the
this,
movie.
I need this to get back. This felt like we're back into Phase 1 and like 3 of Marvel. This
It's all
felt
gonna
like
go
a
to
Winter
cra-
Soldier movie.
It's all gonna
know
go
what
to
I mean?
crap when Ass Man and the Wasp Quantumania drops. So doesn't matter.
Yeah, maybe.
Trash. That movie's gonna be garbage, and everyone's gonna be like, "Has
Jonathan
Marvel
and
lost
Bill
it?"
Murray are gonna save it.
Bill who?
Bill Murray. That's the
Peter
goat,
Venkman?
man.
This
What's
ain't.
Bill
This
Murray
ain't.
even
That's
like?
the
This
goat.
ain't. This ain't 1980s, Graham.
Hey,
Bro.
This
he's
is
great.
2022. I
I
heard
love
he was
that
a
man.
dick. I heard he was a dick, so I'm kind of being rude.
Oh,
I heard it.
Garfield? No.
But yeah, I mean, those are gonna be the two best parts of that movie. But no, I agree. I think it ended on a high note, and
keep it going, please.
it's not going to. But like as I said, Quantumania is coming. But
There
I
you
think
go.
you're a hater.
I am a
Mhm.
hater.
All
But yeah,
right.
I think overall we all enjoyed it. We all liked it. It was a great time.
The general consensus is that we all like the movie. We are
And it
excited to
fucks.
see where things move next. There's a lot coming up, man. Phase 4 is done.
We've
About
got
to
a
launch
lot
phase
to talk
5.
about.
Phase 5 and Phase 6 are going to be instrumental in the future of the MCU. So that being said, that is the end of our Wakanda Forever portion. We're going to end this episode with a game of Would You Rather. Would you rather have the power to fly or super speed? Let's fire these
Fly.
off real quick.
Fly.
Luis is white. Graham.
Super speed.
All right, so
Speed.
super speed.
I
Super
say speed.
I would want to fly. You know what I'm saying? That's all I got. I'm not gonna go too deep into that. Would you rather live in Wakanda or live in Talokan?
Bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I have to. Lokan, I got to. It's
Oof.
Okay.
Come on.
It's
Graham?
it's a game of would you rather, not would you do both.
Graham.
Wakanda.
He's the white
Wakanda.
wolf. The white wolf.
Yes, call me Bucky.
All right.
I'm the favorite
Huh?
colonizer.
Araya, where would you rather live in Wakanda or Talokan?
I want to go to my mom's house during the week and go to my dad's house.
Bruh.
Matt.
Definitely Wakanda because yes, I mean
The technology.
the
because
technology,
and
because of
because
technology, and because I mean I'm African. I'm sorry.
of course.
That's what I was drawn to. Last question: would you rather have Doctor Doom immediately, like Doctor Doom today, or the X-Men today in the MCU?
I know Graham's answer.
Yeah.
I don't even have to answer because we should have got him in this movie.
Yeah.
But
I would say
I'm actually very glad that they didn't put him in the movie because it would have taken away, dude. It would have taken away all the hype for me personally.
This is true.
Yeah.
So Luis,
I would say X-Men
X-Men,
because I need
Mariah.
them. Yeah.
X-Men as well.
I'm also going to say X-Men because there's a plethora of characters that need to get introduced, and we don't have enough time in these next few phases to do one at a time.
And
Very
Graham
Might as
is
well throw 'em all at
Doctor
once.
Doom. You're locking in that answer.
I mean, I
Final
agree.
answer.
I agree, but yeah, that's my final answer.
All right. There you go with
He
that
country,
country, that
y'all.
country
He country.
accent.
He country.
There you
That's
go
my
with that
final
country
answer.
accent.
Final answer.
All right. Well, guys, that just wraps up our first episode of many for the Podtastic 4. I want to thank everyone for just joining in, watching, and listening with us, and listening to our crazy, crazy dialogue about these incredible pop culture things, especially Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. If you're still listening and you haven't seen this movie, I don't know what's wrong with you. Go watch it right now. Pause your phone, pause whatever, go watch it right now. But anyways, if you stuck around this long and you have seen the movie and you did like our dialogue, go ahead and show us some love on, whatever app you're listening to, on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, whatever app you're listening to this or watching on YouTube. Go ahead and show us some love. Give us a 5-star rating, give us a like, follow all our pages at the Podtastic 4. It's usually with the spelled 4 is usually spelled out. If not, it will be the number 4, but it's the Podtastic 4 on all major social medias. With that being said, tune in with us next week as our next episode trots its turkey legs onto your plates. That's a cheesy Thanksgiving reference.
Golly.
Boom.
Giving thanks.
Cut it.
It's giving
Cut
thanks.
it. Cut it.
Yeah. Next week is going to be our Thanksgiving episode. It's going to be something really quick, but afterwards, we got so many things to talk about, like Devotion is coming up, Jonathan Majors and Glenn Powell. We got Avatar, The Way of Water coming up. And then we'll do our end of the year recap episode and just discuss all the things we didn't get to talk about because we started this podcast in November. We should start in January. But,
we also got a couple more things lined up for you guys. Like we got like some drafts, superhero drafts, superhero movie drafts. We've got end of the year lists and stuff like that. And we'll talk about other stuff, not just MCU, DC, Marvel stuff. We'll talk about like actual capital C cinema movies, and we'll talk about like video games,
cinema,
anime, stuff like that.
music, all of
Everybody
it.
watch the new Bleach, please.
Yeah.
1,000 year blood arc.
Oh.
Whatever they said. So
we're gonna get him on that train one day.
Watch that Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
That new you don't rock with Chainsaw Man? Dang, that's crazy, bro.
Chainsaw's the GOAT.
What about My Hero? What about
mid hero?
Yo, okay, what about Attack on Titan? Like
Attack on mid.
I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting for my life right now.
Attack on mid. You can just add mid to any. You can add mid. Funny.
Literally add mid to anything. Yup, absolutely.
Mid-chlorians. Oh, and something I forgot to mention. I don't know how many people here are Harry Potter fans, but if our listeners are, I am, and I am a Hufflepuff. So
I'm a Ravenclaw. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm a
Ravenclaw.
I'm a Ravenclaw.
Gryffindor.
Boo.
Gryffindor. Absolutely. 100%. I stand on
basic.
That, bro. 10 toes down, bro.
Yeah.
10
I
toes
just want to mention that.
And R.I.P. to Hagrid. R.I.P. to Hagrid.
Oh, yeah, that is too soon.
Rest in power, King.
He did just pass.
Why was that funny, right?
Because I don't know, it was hilarious.
We're gonna edit this out.
Rest in power, King. All right.
Right, well, thank you guys so much for joining us, and y'all please tune in next week for the next episode. We will be dropping episodes every Friday. Like I said, tap in with us on all social medias, the Podtastic 4 on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We don't have a Snapchat because nobody uses that. YouTube, follow the YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on our individual pages. We will probably be shouting ourselves out on the page on the social media. So if we don't do it here, you'll see us on there. Just click the little follow button. But yeah,
That TikTok is fire. Follow it, everybody.
blow
yeah.
that up. Tweet Kevin Feige. Tweet every Marvel Studios page about us. Tell them to shout us out. Michael Giacchino. Oh yes,
That's
tell
who I
everyone,
want.
all
I
of
want
them.
him on I want him on here ASAP.
Be sure to tweet us which guests y'all want to see, what things you want to hear us talk about, what games you want us to play. If you want
What
to have
guests y'all would like to see hypothetically?
hypothetically,
In 5 years.
Yeah, in 10
future.
years. Yeah.
But all right, guys, that's it. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see y'all next week. Bye, everyone.
on the flip.
Bye.